Welcome, everyone. Thank you. I'm here with Thao today. Thao is actually one of my students who I've been working with one-on-one since September. But Thao comes with a little bit of experience. She's done some renovating, some smaller renos, and she was currently doing a renovation when we started working together. So we're going to hear all about her renovations. Most interesting about Thao is that all her renovations, bar the property that she lives in, so bar her PPR, all her renovations have been interstate. So I do get lots of people asking about renovating interstate. So today we're going to be asking Thao about her experiences renovating interstate. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the BRRRR strategy that Thao has implemented for herself. So welcome, Thao. Thanks for coming on. It's been a long time
since we having me.
Thank you. It's been a long time since our coaching session this morning. Cool. Okay, well, like I said, thanks for coming on for a quick chat. Just wanted to obviously ask you a little bit about your journey. So why don't you talk us through how you got into, renovating and flipping properties? I know you, before you met me, I know you were part of a program and that sort of thing. So I know you had some mentoring and that to start with. So, but how did you, before you went down that path, how did you get interested in property and what led you, down this sort of journey?
Yeah, so before I got into renovation and flipping, I just bought some property, just normal buy and hold. I make some money from previously, like a property I bought in Melbourne and sold, like held it for 7 years and 4 years. Sold it, make money, and I thought, oh yeah, that's not hard. So I took the money, profit, bought house and land package because, like, at that time, around 550K around me is nothing much, and the yield is really low. So I thought I got that, and I realized that it wasn't a good decision. So I got myself into, I educate myself, and I learned another program, bought 3 properties in a year. All of them is for like positive cash flow property and in a good locations as well. I got addicted to buying, but then after my third one, so I got 4 property back then, 1 in Melbourne and 3 interstate, just normal buy and hold. I did some small renovations, and it's good value add, but it's not enough to like get the equity out and refinance straight away.
Yep.
So I thought of renovations flip. Then I got into the group and I did some one-on-one coaching. That's where I started my Rockhampton. So back then I look at flipping numbers strategy, but the rent is so good, and I thought about BRRRR strategy. So I thought, why don't I just hold it and try to refinance it? And it works. So I thought, yeah, that's going to be my strategy now. I know every time you tell me, every time I got my property, you got to make sure you want to do flip or you want to hold it. You got to know in advance when you start it. But every time when I think about it, I just, if I can get the refinance out, I'm just going to hold it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. So just for clarification, Thao, you're from Melbourne.
Yep.
And you've been buying properties interstate. So I believe your first one was in Bundaberg, which is Queensland. And then the first few were smaller renos, like they weren't proper renovations.
Like just paint,
tidy up.
Just tidy up, paint.
Yeah, cool. So you did one in Bundaberg, which is Queensland. Then you did your second one in Perth, where I'm from. You did that in Armadale, and then you did your third one in
Rockhampton.
Oh, okay. So that was a bigger one though. But you also cool. Okay. So before you started with that, you did a big renovation on your own, your family home. Is that right?
Yeah. It took like 6 months or just over 6 months. We did
Okay.
painting ourselves. And I think that's the second time, because one of my first investment property, we had to paint ourselves, and this is the second time, and I said, nah, that's not for me. I'm not gonna DIY or like do on my own. So that's the reason why I choose interstate, because it just forced myself to get somebody else to do it. Like even though I'm tempting to do it, but I just can't. Yeah.
Okay. So with the family home, when you renovated that, was that before you got any education on renovating and flipping and renovating
That
holding that
time
sort of stuff?
I got into a renovation program already, but it's
Yep.
just a normal group online program, not one-on-one. And
Yep.
when I finished that one, then I got into one-on-one coaching with the same group.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the first one was you renovated your property, and what did you do to that? I believe you did was that a complete renovation?
Pretty much. I didn't gut the kitchen though. I just had a new door, had a new bent top, new splashbacks. So all appliances. So whatever you can see outside, that where I replace. So I keep the whole thing. So normally, the whole kitchen I got quoted costs around 20 to 35K for the kitchen. Depends on like what the finish you like.
Yep.
I got that like really nice finish, like stone band top, stone splashback, and all new appliances. It looks like brand new, and it's just got me like 15,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's
So you
nearly
kept
half
the
price.
existing shell of the
Yeah,
cabinetry and that sort of stuff
yeah,
to save a bit
yeah.
of cost.
And pretty much just replaced light to light. Didn't change any positions, and that I saw like if you know how to renovate, you can save a lot of money, and it just so that's why I thought about flipping, because I think if I can do this, I can do flip too.
Okay, cool. So just on that though, so you haven't really flipped those. So you've decided to hold the properties, right?
Yeah,
So for example, and you've said it obviously when we just first started, then that your first option is to renovate and hold the property.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So how did you choose the locations for the properties interstate? So your first one was Bundaberg, then you did one in Perth, and then Rockhampton. I know the first two, like I said, were smaller renovations, more tidier.
Yeah.
And then obviously Rockhampton was a much bigger renovation. But how did you choose the locations? I mean, you were looking at
I just
data and
follow
stuff like that.
data. Yeah, I just follow data pretty much, because I originally I try to diversify, so just one from each locations, and
Yeah,
where I see Rockhampton will be my next investment. For normal buy and hold. So I saw the opportunity to flip, and I just get my hands on.
yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So let's have a chat about the first one then. So the first property was Bundaberg, which
Hmm.
was a property was obviously you renovated the.
Just paint.
I'm back.
I was thinking.
I think my internet went weird then.
No, we had a big storm in Melbourne, so a lot of trees fallen. So yeah, I thought it was my internet.
No, I think it was mine.
Mm.
So someone just said I lost Graham, I think, but I think I'm back now. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, tell us about Bundaberg then. So you used some data, and then you obviously thought, okay, Bundaberg's a growth location. How did you purchase that property? Was it like on market? What was the strategy behind the renovation? What did you have to do for the renovation?
So my when I did a course, get all the data. So I bought that just under 300. So I bought it to 285. So my strategy was just to get like positive cash flow, everything under 300, 350K. And the yield at least, like back then I want the yields at least to be 6.5 or 7%.
Yep.
That it was good. And I saw that price. I mean, I saw that house and I said, oh, that's great. So I think it's got about nearly 8% yield or something. Once I renovated it. And it's really
And
good.
what rent did you get for? Sorry, what renovation did you do to that property?
So just paint, and cutting trees and just clean up kitchen. So I didn't have to do kitchen or bathroom. Just change a tapware, and I think I paint the bench top because I think it's called epoxy paint or something on the top and the bench top. And the rent back then before renovations was 380. My property manager was saying 380, and then once I renovated, I got tenants. Like I got, I think about 10 applications for it, and it's ended up renting out for 440.
Yeah, right. So $60 over.
$60. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so that property. I mean, and so what year was that renovation?
So that one was I purchased in Feb 2022.
Okay,
so
cool. And what sort of growth have you had on that one from using the data that you?
So yeah, just lately my property manager texts me the house opposite listed for 440. Exactly the same house.
Yeah, and what did you purchase for?
285.
Cool. So you've had some good growth in that one from buying in the right location, using the data, and then just giving it a bit of a tidy up from liquor paint, really, and then obviously a really strong rental yield.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying to you, sometimes I feel like I just buy and hold it, and then it just go without doing anything.
100%. Okay, awesome. Okay, and so from there you dived into the Perth market because obviously the data in Perth was looking strong, and you bought another property which required a more tidy up renovation as well.
Yeah, I actually purchased another investment property in Horsham.
Okay.
Just next month, like just a month after Bundaberg.
Yep.
But that one was fully renovated. I bought it for 262. After negotiated from Building and Pests, I got 30K down.
Yep.
Yeah, so that one is fully renovated because I've just purchased Bundaberg and I was renovating Bundaberg. So I thought, oh, this one perfect. I just have to rent it out, and it's really high. It's really good yield. It's rent for 350. And after that, at the moment, that one around 350.
So about 100K in equity from that one.
Almost 100K equity for a year.
Cool. Sweet.
And go to Perth, Armadale. I remember start of 2023. I think I got Armadale in March, settled in March 23. And start of the year when I start looking, and I just heard people say, oh, don't buy Armadale. It's the worst suburb in Perth that you could you don't want to go out at night.
Was I one of those people?
Probably. And I said, oh, but the data looks really good and the rent is good. So I thought, yeah, that's like I'll just block the noise. And I purchased a property in really good location. Is like over 800 square meters. 342. And so that was March, just over a year. It's now, I think I can get for high 4. So
Wow, so you've had
499.
about 150, 160K
Yeah.
equity in that property. So talk to me about, I know you did a bit more, it was still only a tidy up renovation, but you still had to do a little bit of work to it, yeah?
Yeah.
So talk to me about the renovation that you had to do for that project.
So same with that one. I back then, like hard to find trading in Perth as well. And I went to High Pages and I got painter. Lucky I got a painter, and he painted the whole thing. So I did like even asked him to paint the AC for me because I remember I asked him, "Oh, have you painted the AC before? Can you paint that one? That looks really yellow and it's not nice with the white new paint." So he did that. And it looks great, and I think I spent just under 20K on that one. So pretty much
Okay.
just
Hang on,
paint.
so you did paint, what else? Paint.
I did the I just paint the bathtub and the sink in the shower.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, so it's mainly paint again.
reground the shower, floor tiles and wall tiles and floor tiles, and just paint the bathtub and the sink.
Awesome. Okay, so mainly paint again. And so how much do you reckon, if you look at Bundaberg and then also, the Armadale property, how much do you reckon you're adding in, value just from the paint job? So how much is the paint job normally, like 8 or 9K or something like that, 10K? How much does a paint cost?
Around 10, yeah, but around 10, 12 if you do
How much,
inside, outside. Yeah.
and then how much do you reckon it's adding in value to the property, but also how much is it helping the rental income?
So it's really good for rental income. I remember Armadale is one of my best deal ever, and I was like amazed what the rent turns out. When I talked to a property manager, because I got property manager to look at the house for pre-purchase, and I remember she was saying around $450 a week rent. And if I renovate it, I might get maybe 480, 490. And back then, like, because I've done a lot of research, I know how to do a comparable for rent and house price in the area. So I thought, yeah, maybe I can get maybe 490 max per week. And after the renovations, she texted me saying, okay, I can list it for 530. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, I thought you said 490. I said, I said, she said, I think because the market moved so quick, she think I can get that price. I think around 490 she quoted, and then it's end up renting out for 550.
Yeah, wow.
And I like, oh wow, I didn't expect that. So
Awesome. So
it's
you got some
really good
good cash
deal.
flow from that property, and you've
Yeah,
had some good
really
growth as
good.
well.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So you did the first reno you did was a big one on the house that you're living in, which obviously, you were living on it, so it's easier to see what's going on because you're there. And then the next couple you did were mainly just paint and tidy up, which were interstate. And then you decided to do a proper renovation interstate, which was one in Rockhampton. Now,
Yeah.
when you came to me, I think you just started it. You started chatting to me, and you hadn't settled on it before yet. But then I think by the time we sort of started working
It
together,
was settled. It's starting, yeah. I think
yeah, I think
September,
you'd already
because
started it when you started working
because
with me.
I settled on my birthday, 14 August.
Okay.
And and
Right.
then I think I met you. I've started like September or something. So I've started almost
Okay.
halfway.
So what I wanted to say with this first one in Rockhampton, you had a builder doing the renovation, right? So you're interstate, but you had a builder doing the renovation. So you think it should be smooth sailing, but I know
Smooth.
it wasn't.
Yeah. But it's
And
funny. Hang on. I just want to say something about the renovation in PPOR, my
yep,
home. I actually found it is harder.
being
I think
there.
it's maybe because of my OCD. I can't live in the renovation itself. So that's one of the reason why I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna do interstate.
I think a lot of people would struggle to live in the renovation because you've got a construction site going on around you.
We pretty much just moved one room to another room. So we just like all three of us sleeping on the bed, and then just we have to move one to another, and it's like I I don't want to do this again. So
Yep,
first time
difficult.
and last time.
Fair enough. Yeah, me personally, I don't think I would live in a. I don't. I'm just going to have to plug my computer in because it's about to go flat. But me personally, I wouldn't want to live in a renovation. Like it's just, you want to come home and get away from it. You don't want to have to be living around it. Sorry,
Yeah.
2 secs. Okay, so talk to me about the Rockhampton one was obviously quite a big renovation. It was a full gut. I know you spent like over 100K on the renovation. It was a big renovation, and it looked absolutely amazing. Like you did a really nice renovation.
Thanks.
I'd probably say you went a little bit over the top in the. I think I did say that to you. I said for the area, and I think you spent a little bit too much on the renovation, but that's okay. I mean, it's when I started, I did the same thing. You spend probably some money in areas where you don't need to. But so talk to me about the that property and that whole journey and dealing with the builder and yeah. So why did you choose, for example, a builder for that property rather than, having a project manager or something like that? Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So I got introduced this builder, and like he from the start he was good, and the price that he quoted is reasonable, and because it's like I had the fear that like I've done managing just painting job and stuff interstate, but this is a big project. Like this is the full gut kitchen, new bathroom. I even remove one wall. So I just feel like it's because I'm not there, so it's easier for me to have somebody there to manage the whole project. It's just easier, and I've learned from there. Like I'm pretty much just call him, like get updated from him every second day. I just thought it's easier that way, so I can learn from him, like how to manage Jays and all that stuff. Yeah, and maybe for my next project, I can try to do it myself.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, you've got a project that you settle in Rockhampton on Friday, and this
Yeah,
one you're not going down the builder route. You've got a project manager who's going to oversee your trades, but so just for clarification for people listening. So when Thao engaged a builder, he came with all his tradespeople, right? He had his cabinet maker, handyman, his plumber, electrician, tiler, all those trades. So you didn't have to project manage and get those tradespeople involved. Whereas working with me now, I was like, no, in order to save money on those costs, because the builder, I know he said to you at the time it was like 12% or something like that, but
yeah,
we know that he was
more than that. Yeah,
it was more than that. So by you obviously being project managing it and having someone on the ground to oversee it, but there you can obviously save a fair bit of money on costs and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
how are you finding the process now? I mean, obviously we'll go back to the previous project, but how are you finding the transition of leaving everything with the builder for the first one versus setting everything up yourself and having your own tradespeople and building your own team, which is what I encourage?
I have to admit it's really hard. Very challenge. Oh, someday I scratch myself, said, oh, where do I start? How do I start? But because I got your guidance, one day at a time, I just say one day I'm going to call all the painters that I have contacts and just get them out, look at the house, give me quotes. I'm just trying to get 3 quotes from each trades. And it's so far it's okay.
Fair enough. So with regard to, we'll just go back to the first one, so the one that you completed. So you obviously rented that property out. Do you want to talk to us about, when you finished it, and the equity that you had in the property, and the yield and stuff like that? Do you want to
the one in Rockhampton, just the one that
the
I
first
just
one?
finished. Yeah.
Yeah, the one you just finished there, yeah.
Yeah, so that one, originally I was thinking to flip. So I did all the numbers for flipping. So I purchased it for 248. Plus cost is around 12,000 with stamp duty and legal costs. And so renovated, I was budget for 90K, but end up spending 100K, just over 100K, because I had to replace the stump and all the other costs. So all up is around 365. And at the market back then, when I talked to the agents, when I nearly finished the renovations, most agents come back. It's like, oh, you can get 400, between 400 to 430, right? And I thought, then by the time you pay agents fee, staging, marketing, I probably end up maybe 20 to 30K net profit. And because by looking at all the properties that I purchased, doing nothing, this one, I literally, like, a lot of sweat in it. And I thought, oh, if I can only get 20 to 30K, then I better just keep it. So I was maxed out, but lucky because I bought this one under trust. I think a lot of people ask how you refinance it. So that's what I did. I just get a low doc and low doc loan. So I could get, the only con about low doc is really high interest rate. I think my interest rate around 8%, like 8 to 8.5%.
Who's
But
that
then,
with? That's high for even a low doc lender. Who's that with?
what is it? This one with Pepper.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, so
okay. So you pivoted on that one. So you went, okay, I'm not going to flip it. I'm going to hold it because I know that Rockhampton is in a growth phase, and I'm going to keep getting growth on it. So you finished that one in November. Where, a few months later, has Rockhampton seen any growth? Has that property seen any growth since then?
Yep. So I talked to my broker, and he said he can take this loan and go to Liberty, and the Liberty valuations are 450. And I was like, okay, so it's more than, so it's more
50K
than
more than what you would have
what I think. So I got, I think because the LVR, they don't want to do 80% LVR. I think they got about 70% or 75% LVR. So I got the refinance out for 320.
Okay.
So
cool.
all my money in is 360, and I can get 320 out.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so talk to me about, with that particular property, you used the builder. So I know you had some problems with the builder. People are probably listening and thinking like, oh, renovating interstate, it's challenging, but some people are up for the challenge. That property had a builder, so you think it would be relatively easy, but it wasn't. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you had with the builder. Like for example, I know you had I know for example, to start with, you had some challenges because there was a cost blowout because in the building inspection and that you missed that the building inspector missed that the stumps needed replacing. So you had about 10 or 11 grand of, I think it was 11 grand if I remember correctly.
About 11 grand,
stumps. Yeah. So you had a blowout there, which obviously the builder had to do. You had the builder was like not meeting time frames and stuff like that.
Yeah, so and he got a really bad painter, and it took ages to finish. So there's a delay.
Okay. So give us some.
Also about money. Sorry.
So talk to us about that relationship and how it sort of unfolded.
So there's a lot of challenge when you do renovation interstate. From my experience is, if the builder is not proactive with taking photos and videos, he's not going to send you that, because I have the arrangement with him. Every time I pay, you need to send me photos and videos of what the finished stage. He kept saying, "Oh, I'm not good with like phone and technology." So that's one of the challenge. And another challenge with this builder is he want me to pay in advance. And I had really bad experience, even with my PBRRR, when I renovate the fence. I pay someone and then he just didn't come back like for another 6 or 8 months. So I was really skeptical to pay someone in advance. But then if I don't pay him, he wouldn't continue the job. So I had no choice to pay him. But lucky he finished. Lucky he wasn't that bad. I think it's just the work ethic, or that's the way he is. I'm not sure, but he always asking me to pay in advance, and I'm always like, I'm like, what if he took the money and run? I just don't know what to do. But yeah, it's not easy. It's very challenging. But I think once you overcome it, it's big opportunity. That's why.
So give me some of the positive and some of the the valuable lessons that you were able to take from that particular reno and now use for the one that you're about to settle on Friday.
So the thing I learned is you have to know your trades. So what I like right now, when I looking for trades, I always ask them what their previous job and if they're on time, and if they can give me any reference that I can speak to, or I got from Facebook community and just got my project manager to have a look for me, to see if anyone, like a lot of trades that got recommended by other people, by locals. So I think it just get to know your tradies, get a lot of quotes and compare.
Did you have much to do with the tradies on the first project though? Because with a builder,
not really. I did ask him if I can pay electrician direct, plumber direct. So I got connection with those guys, which I'm now going to use them again, or just ask them for quote again. Some of the trade I got, but the painter is the worst one, so I wouldn't use him or her again. Yeah, that's pretty much just plumber, electricians. But he
Cool.
did a
Awesome.
lot himself for all other stuff, like all the handyman work. That builder did himself.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your latest project, which is another one in Rockhampton. So, just for clarification, so you've decided to stay in Rockhampton because you see, that northern Queensland location as a growth area. So you feel like, by buying in there, as well as the uplift from the renovation, you can get the growth from the market as well.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that project. How did you find that one? And obviously it settles Friday. Just talk me through what's happened to date for that one.
So yeah, that one I actually found it on Facebook community group. So I saw someone post it there that they have the house for sale, and I just connect with them direct. Lucky the owner's really good, really good communications, very understanding. I originally I offer for 260, and very exciting. I got the offer accepted verbally on the 22nd of December, which is a Friday. Very exciting. But then I can't get everything done until everyone back on the second week of January. That's why it's that long, because usually I try to get the settlement 30 days or 60 days. So I learned the other time I got the building and pest inspections done, and I managed to get 40K down because I know I had to replace stump this time as well.
So just for clarification, the stumps. So you got the building and pest inspection back, and it came
Yeah.
back that the stumps were termite damage. So essentially, you needed to have the whole house re-stumped,
Yeah,
which I think was going to cost about 30 grand. So you managed to get the
about
40
30
grand
grand.
discount. Is that right?
Yeah, so I thought about that price, so I got 40K reduced
Discount
from the 260K.
to 220.
Mm.
Perfect. Okay, cool. And so the process over the last, few weeks has really been about building your team, which is, so you've been, obviously doing a lot of phone calls and getting people
Yeah.
going and quoting. You've also got a project manager to sort of do the, to check the handyman work, to check the work of the tradespeople. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way they can be the go-to for you.
Yep.
Yep. So talk to me about the process of dealing with trades when you're in Melbourne and they're in Queensland.
So obviously it's easier face-to-face in Melbourne, but I think because back then, starting, I just didn't understand how the renovation works. So that's one of the reason why I want to see how it's done so I can learn. But even in Melbourne, like if they delay, they delay. Like even you call them, if they don't turn up, it's still the same, right?
Yep.
Same with interstate. I find it just. I think because when I done renovation in Bundaberg and Armadale, like all interstate, I think I learned that skill, like just communicate with tradie on the phone. I
Yep.
think so. That's why I find it probably easy for me, because sometimes the tradie don't treat you the same way because you're a woman. Did you hear that? Have
I
you
did hear
heard
that.
about that? So I I just feel more comfortable talking to them on the phone rather than face to face.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that project you settle this Friday. We've worked through the schedule. So we've got a schedule set for, skip in on day one, disconnect, electrician,
Yep.
plumber, pretty much day one.
Yep.
Then the re-stump's going to happen the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then I think from our coaching session today, the 2 trades that you still need to finalise
Tala.
are the tiler and the cabinet maker, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So schedule is everything when it comes to renovating, and it's even more important, I think, when being interstate. So because if one person in the schedule, messes up, it affects everybody else, because depending on the schedule, some trades can't come if the previous trade, hasn't finished what they need to do. So that's going to be the big challenge for you, and making sure that they stay on course, essentially.
Yeah. So by talking to them before I accept, before I hire them, I repeat many times that I've run really tight time frame and budget. So I will send them all the schedule, the date that they start, and the date for the next tradie start. So I've just make sure that if they have any delay, they let me know straight away, so I can arrange the tradies to change their schedule.
Perfect.
So that's I think I'll let you know after this one goes. I'll see how I go.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. All right. So we've talked about your projects. I wanted to talk to you now about the BRRRR strategy. I know you're a big advocate for it, which is the buy the property, renovate the property, rent the property out. So then obviously you're going to hold on to the property, rent it out, you refinance it to obviously use your equity and then repeat the process. So talk to me about this property, because this is essentially what you've done. And I suppose for anyone that's listening, the benefit of this property, this strategy, is that if you're going to buy a property and then you just, you buy property, retail, essentially, if you're holding it, you're just waiting for the growth. So you're not actually manufacturing any growth. With the benefit of this strategy is that by buying a property that needs a renovation, you're able to buy it cheap, and therefore you're doing a renovation and you're adding that value. So you could either flip the property and make a return, or you can hold it and you've manufactured the equity. And the advantage obviously with this strategy as well is you're not having to pay any stamp duty. Sorry, you are having to pay stamp duty. You're not having to pay any agent's fees on the way out, so you're saving there. And obviously you're not having to pay any tax because you haven't sold the property. So, let's say, for example, some of the properties I've flipped in the last, last year or so, I've had properties making 120, 150K profit, but the profit would have been a lot more in equity if I didn't have to pay agents' fees and that sort of stuff as well.
Tax. So, and tax as well.
So talk to me about that strategy for you. Like, how did you come across the strategy, and what made you decide to implement that versus, just your traditional buy and hold and wait for growth?
So originally I want to buy 10 properties. I want to accumulate 10 properties in 5 years. And back then I thought, I don't know how I don't know how I do it. That's where I come across BRRRR, and I've listened to the podcasts, American podcasts, and read books about it. And I saw the opportunity even in Australia, because I haven't seen a lot of people done this strategy in Australia. It is always the strategy that investors use, but in a short period of time is very rare. So that's why I thought if I can use flipping strategy, so that's my next skill that I need to learn. That's where I got into one-on-one coach with other group, and then I because when I saw you, I thought, I want to do exactly what you do, but then I want to hold it. Combine the two strategy that will give me BRRRR, but BRRRR, to make the 100% BRRRR, you need to refinance it within 6 months, and you take all your money out, and with the new loan, the rent has to like cover the interest of the new loan.
Yep.
Or neutral or whatever. You can be a bit slightly, with the interest rate now it's really high, so it's slightly negative, but after tax, after depreciation, because you still can claim the depreciation from your renovations,
Yep.
that cash flow probably neutral. So so I asked you if you can coach me and learn that skill. The one challenge with BRRRR is you have to find in the high rental yield, because there's no point if you take the money out, refinance it, but then the yield is really low, then you have to have a big negative
Because of serviceability, right?
serviceability. So I can't borrow more, and I just can't accumulate it more.
Yeah, okay. So just for clarification, you need to buy properties, obviously, and you still need to buy them well, as if you were going to flip the property. The only
That's
difference
right.
is your intention is to hold the property. So you're still buying, massively under market, which is what obviously I teach. But then you're obviously renting the property out. But with the properties that you're selecting, they need to be properties that are either neutrally geared or positively geared. You can't be doing it with properties that are going to be negatively geared, because then you're going to run into those serviceability issues, right?
Yep.
And then obviously you rent it out, so you're getting a good yield. And then because you've given the big uplift from the renovation, and you've now created a chunk of equity, you're able to use that to then, instead of having come up with hard cash for your next deal, you can draw out that equity and you can go again into another deal.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Now, the financing, just for clarification, financing in Australia and America very different. I know the BRRRR strategy is simpler there, because there is, financing options could be a little bit easier there. But just with talk to me about your financing then, how you finance it. Like, I know you already mentioned about the low doc lenders and stuff like that. So, a lot of people don't realize that, there's a world outside of, your major banks. So your major banks have different, they're a lot more regulated, and it's a little bit different. Obviously, better interest rates, but with your, your low doc lenders and your second tier lenders and that sort of stuff, there's ways around it. Did you want to go into how you've sort of financed some of these deals?
Yep. So my my last deal, I got a low doc with the normal lending, but this one I just I haven't done it yet, but I just found that there is a way that you can run it as a business, and you can buy under trust, and you can borrow that with the accountant letters. So I haven't done it yet, but I will try this time. I'll keep you update how I go.
All right, cool.
But there is a way. Yeah, there is a way that you can do it.
I can probably answer it for you. So basically, for anyone wondering, so you always need to be able to service the loan, whether it's, and every bank has a different policy for when it comes to how you service. With low doc lending, or, sometimes, like, the likes of Latrobes and those guys, rather than having to show pay slips or financials, you can do it through an accountant's letter. Again, this is not accounting advice. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah,
Don't take this as financial. Do not take this as financial advice. But the way I've done it with the low doc lenders is I then get an accountant's letter, and the accountant's letter then is basically saying, okay, this property services itself. Essentially, and then that's all the lender essentially needs, rather than me having to show pay slips and show serviceability that way. So, so that's. I don't want to go too much deeper, because I'm not an accountant. I'm also not a financial broker.
advisor.
not a financial advisor either, but yeah, so there is ways around it though. I mean, I'd even go as far as saying, and I've done this myself, is you could if you're really stuck getting finance, or not so much stuck, but you can even use a money partner, if it's to finance the purchase, and then if as long as you're buying it really well and you're creating a lot of equity, you can refinance the money partner out of the deal because you've now got 20% deposit or more, if depending on the purchase price and that sort of stuff. But you can even finance a money partner out of the deal as well.
Yep, that's what I love about your course.
What bit's that?
The money partner.
The money partner's cool.
Yeah.
So you've just that's a good point. You've just got your first money partner for this deal. So you hadn't obviously everything before with your own finance. Do you want to talk to us about getting your first money partner? Because I'm sure a lot of people listening would be very interested to hear about you getting your first money partner.
So yeah, because I just follow what you teach in the course. So once I found a deal, I just put myself out there saying that I'm looking for money partners and I pay such and such interest rate. I got a few people like DM me and just want to know about my deals. And that's something I didn't know before I met you. I always looking for JV. Like we just split in half finance, or they can do the loan, like use their loan to fund the deal.
They come up with the cash and you
come
just
up
do
with the cash,
the renovation.
And then we split in half, right, for the profit. But with the money partner, I just find it so much easier. You don't have to involve anyone in it, and you just run your own show pretty much. You just make your own decisions.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is I love numbers. Like it makes so much sense, right? Because by the time you pay the money partner interest rate and you still come up with the net profit, then it's a deal. So I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that I got money partner that he's really confident in my deal. Like I just said to my husband, like I've got so lucky because this guy, he understands like everything. He never done it before. This is his first deal with money partner, but then he knows everything. Like I didn't have to explain to him. It makes things so much easier. Like so he's gonna fund the purchase 220, and yeah, so I'm look forward
Awesome.
to get onto it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, money partners are a saving grace. They provide an opportunity for finance when other lenders don't. So
yeah, it's crazy.
it's a whole,
I'm like, I remember I talked, like when I started with you, I said, oh, because I saw what you're doing. How can you flip 6-7 properties in a year? Like I'm struggled just to flip one, and I plan to flip 2. It's like, oh, okay, I want to flip 2 this year, and it's still hard. So that's why I said, oh, can you coach me? even before you started coaching, right? And now with the money partner, I'm saying, oh, this is crazy. Like I can do this without using bank. It takes
100%.
sometimes it takes a month, it's 2 months to get the loan approved. And it's like I with money partner I can do maybe 4 flips a year. Like it's doable. It's not hard.
Yeah. So this is going to be your first flip, and then then you're planning on obviously doing a bit of a balancing act where you do some flips for cash flow, and then you're also going to hold some as well. Yeah. So this is but one thing I've been saying to you is that you need to have your strategy. You need to know, like, you don't want to be like, oh, I might hold this one, I might flip it. It's like, no, you've got your goal. This is how many properties I'm going to accumulate this year through my BRRRR strategy, and this is how many I'm going to accumulate for cash flow.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I have to flip to make some cash because I want to run this as a business, and I'm so excited because when I had my tax loader shops, I've been working long hours, and I look at like when it's COVID time and Melbourne lockdown, and I see people working from home, and I'm like, I want to work from home too. I don't want to go to shops every day, and so that's why I sold my shops, and I just try to find a way that I can run business from home. And this is perfect opportunity for me. Like I can do flipping business from home, and I can do because I do interstate. I don't have to go there. Like it just forces myself to find someone for me.
Awesome.
Yes, it is. I have to rely on people, but if it works, then it's really good.
Awesome. All right, let's answer some questions before we finish up. It's been great talking, but we've got some people who are asking questions, so I want to get a chance to answer those. So, Tao, for Misha, how did you finance these properties you held? So we've already spoke about it. So low doc and stuff like that. So I think we've kind of answered that one. Do you normally get a property manager in each location? Because you are not, yeah. Do you want to? So you have a. So what do you use the property manager for, basically?
So originally I just got property manager to go and inspect the house for me. So they will take the video call. They call me and walk through, and because they got knowledge, they can advise me what I can fix to get the house for rent ready. Yeah, that's pretty much, and I just get
Just on that though, that's for your smaller
for the
Bundaberg and
small, yeah,
Armadale, but
yeah,
not for the
not
two
for
big
the
ones
flip.
you've done in Rockhampton.
No, not for the
Yeah.
flip.
So for those ones, you're using an actual property project manager to do that. Correct?
Yeah. My last project, my coach lives in the area, so she inspect the house for me.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, so this time I'm just gonna use the project manager to manage it.
Perfect. Sally, someone from our course. How do you check on the job when you are interstate? How do you know the quality of work? So again, you just mentioned that. So the first time around you had a builder. We spoke about this time. You've got a project manager on the ground. They're not really a project manager. They are, but you're still liaising with the trades and that sort of stuff. But they're checking on the work and going to give you updates sort of a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We've covered that then. The next question was regarding, are you able to share an example of a net profit that you've flipped, but you haven't really flipped one yet? Yours have been buy, renovate, hold. So they're not relevant, that
so
one.
Normally we aim minimum 50K net.
Is that
profit.
your thing? You're going to go minimum 50K? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Mike, someone else from our course, how would you service the loans if the rental yield drops? It's not going to drop, is it?
Not in the areas that I'm looking at. They're increasing every month.
I think the answer to that would be the rental vacancy rates all over the country are so low, rents aren't dropping, and in the area that you're in, then that's just not going to happen. The issue is that there's just not enough accommodation, so rents are going to keep rising. And we had John Lindemann do our market update this month, and that's the message that he shared. Corey, someone else in the program. Tao, do you do interest-only loans when you refinance, and what is the minimum rental yield needed? So yes.
I do interest only for all my loans, including my PPRR.
Okay, and the minimum rental yield that you need to be able to do them for them to be neutral. Neutral or positive.
7%.
7%. Perfect. Are you full-time working elsewhere?
I was. Now I'm not.
What are you now?
I'm just flipping business full-time now.
Perfect. What is the cost for a project manager? What's the percentage?
It depends. Probably about 5%, 5 to 10%.
So 5% seems a bit low. I'd say the going rate is probably about 12%, but you're paying. That depends on what level of project managing you. So you're not really paying someone to project manage it. Project manager would be you're like completely hands off, which you're not in this situation, because you've got someone doing the inspecting and stuff like that. But I would say I know the going rate's about 12% minimum. But that they'd be doing that. They'd be literally running the whole project.
The whole project, yeah.
And then last question, what systems do you use to find houses that you do deals with? So I think he's talking about data that you use maybe.
So yeah, we use DSR data, RP data.
Yeah. Awesome. No worries. All right, final question for me, Thao. We've just hit the hour mark. Firstly, thanks for coming on, but what advice would you have to anyone looking at getting into this field or this following in your footsteps?
Just do it.
Have a crack.
Just have a crack.
Awesome.
Because you learn, like the first one will be hard, the second one will be hard, but with anything, the more you do, the better you will be. Just like I'm still learning every day now, but I feel just easier and easier with every project I do. So yeah, it's like you do 10 or 20 now, so it's just normal for you, right?
Well, it's like anything. I mean, it doesn't matter. When you do something enough, it's you become good at it. So, but it's obviously right. Practice makes perfect. Practice. So you just got to throw yourself in, I suppose. But yeah, hope so. Yeah, so this project that you're working on now is going to be your first successful property flip.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the chat, Thao. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And for everyone listening, I am actually off to Japan myself on Sunday. So the next 3 weeks, there will be no Facebook Live, but I will be doing one once I return. So I'll get back on the 10th of March. And so that week we'll be doing a Facebook Live again. But Thao, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on, having a chat with me. Looking forward to, getting stuck into your renovation.
What I'm going to do without you for 3 weeks.
Well, this is such a one. This is why we'll set you up for success before you go.
Thanks,
right.
Graham.
Thank you. See ya. Catch ya.
See ya.
Bye.